Hello, thank you for joining with me. We are in A Course in Miracles Workbook for Students, Part 1 of the Workbook, Lesson 200. There is no peace except the peace of God. Seek you no further. You will not find peace except the peace of God. Accept this fact and save yourself the agony of yet more bitter disappointments, bleak despair, and sense of icy hopelessness and doubt. Seek you no further. There is nothing else for you to find except the peace of God, unless you seek for misery and pain. This is the final point to which each one must come at last, to lay aside all hope of finding happiness where there is none, of being saved by what can only hurt, of making peace of chaos, joy of pain, and heaven out of hell. Attempt no more to win through losing, nor to die to live. You cannot but be asking for defeat. Yet you can ask as easily for love, for happiness, and for eternal life, in peace that has no ending. Ask for this and you can only win. To ask for what you already have must succeed. To ask that what is false be true can only fail. Forgive yourself for vain imaginings and seek no longer what you cannot find. For what could be more foolish than to seek and seek and seek again for hell, when you have but to look with open eyes to find that heaven lies before you, through a door which opens easily to welcome you. Come home. You have not found your happiness in foreign places and in alien forms which have no meaning to you, though you seek to make them meaningful. This world is not where you belong. You are a stranger here, but it is given you to find the means whereby the world no longer seems to be a prison house for you or anyone. Freedom is given you where you beheld but chains and iron doors, for you must change your mind about the purpose of the world if you would find escape. You will be bound till all the world is seen by you as blessed, and everyone made free of your mistakes and honored as he is. You made him not, no more yourself, and as you free the one, the other is accepted as he is. And as you free the one, everyone, the other, yourself, is accepted as he is. That's footnote 440. What does forgiveness do? In truth, it has no function and does nothing, for it is unknown in heaven. It is only hell where it is needed and where it must serve a mighty function. Is not the escape of God's beloved Son from evil dreams that he imagines yet believes are true a worthy purpose? Who could hope for more while there appears to be a choice to make between success and failure, love and fear? There is no peace except the peace of God, because he has one Son who cannot make a world in opposition to God's will and to his own, which is the same as his. What could he hope to find in such a world? It cannot have reality because it never was created. Is it here that he would seek for peace, or must he see that, as he looks on it, the world can but deceive? Yet can he learn to look on it another way and find the peace of God. Peace is the bridge which everyone will cross to leave this world behind, but it begins within the world perceived as different and will lead from this fresh perception to the gate of heaven and way beyond. Peace is the answer to conflicting goals, to senseless journeys, frantic vain pursuits, and meaningless endeavors. Now the way is easy, sloping gently toward the bridge where freedom lies within the peace of God. Let us not lose our way again today. We go to heaven, and the path is straight. Only if we attempt to wander can there be delay and needless waste of time on thorny byways. God alone is sure, and He will guide your footsteps. He will not desert His Son in need, nor let him stray forever from His home. The Father calls, the Son will hear, and that is all there is to what appears to be a world apart from God, where bodies have reality. Now there is silence. Seek no further. You have come to where the road is carpeted with leaves of false desires, fallen from the trees of hopelessness you sought before. Now are they underfoot, and you look up and on toward heaven with the body's eyes, but serving for an instant longer now. Peace is already recognized at last, and you can feel its soft embrace surround your heart and mind with comfort and with love. Today we seek no idols. Peace cannot be found in them. The peace of God is ours, and only this will we accept and want. Peace be to us today, for we have found a simple, happy way to leave the world of ambiguities and to replace our shifting goals and solitary dreams with single purpose and companionship, for peace is union, if it be of God. We seek no further. We are close to home and draw still nearer every time we say, there is no peace except the peace of God, and I am glad and thankful it is so. The commentary by Alan Watson and Robert Perry for Lesson 200, July 19th. There is no peace except the peace of God. The purpose of this lesson is to no longer seek peace from things of the world, but only from God, to no longer wander off the path, seeking worldly satisfactions, but take the straight path to God. So we'll meditate at least 5 minutes, ideally 30 or more. Please join me for my meditation. Again, we are not given specific instructions. The goal today is to cement our determination to seek peace only from God, not from the world. We find God's peace through choosing a new perception of the world, a perception in which all the world is seen by you as blessed. The way to reach this perception is forgiveness. See paragraph 6. Rather than forcing things to go our way, we forgive them for not going our way. That is how we find the peace of God. You may want to ask your internal teacher what kind of practice period will allow you to reach this goal. What form of practice will help you no longer be lured off the path by the siren song of the world, but instead take the straight road to God? So, hourly remembrance, 1 or 2 minutes as the hour strikes. Reduce if circumstances do not permit. Search your mind for the happenings of the previous hour in which you didn't get what you wanted. Then let each one go by, repeating, there is no peace except the peace of God, and I am glad and thankful that it is so. Realize you don't want the thing you thought they could give you. All you want is the peace of God. Response to temptation: when tempted to seek peace from anything of this world, quickly repeat, there is no peace except the peace of God, and I am glad and thankful that it is so. Commentary by Alan Watson. The basic message of this lesson is that every means we use to try to find peace through or from the world will fail. Only the peace that comes from God, a peace that we already have as part of our created being, is real and eternal. Some good sections to read in conjunction with today's lesson are Section 11 in the Manual for Teachers, How is Peace Possible in This World? And in the text, Chapter 31, Section 4, The Real Alternative. Everything in this world ends in death. This world is hell because no matter what course we follow, No matter how hard we strive, we wind up losing everything in the end. What a depressing game it is when the only outcome is losing. This is the source of the agony of bitter disappointments, bleak despair, and sense of icy hopelessness and doubt. If we are playing the game of the world, seeking for happiness where there is none, we can only be hurt. We are asking for defeat. We may not be fully conscious of this despair, yet it underlies everything we do. Ernest Becker's book, The Denial of Death, footnote 1, I don't know where that is, is all about the ways in which we anxiously and firmly push the awareness of death out of our minds, burying it in the trivia of daily life, struggling to find meaning in something to which we can attach ourselves and somehow achieve immortality. Becker reaches the same conclusion as the Course in some respects, that we are all insane, all bound up in denial and projection. The only difference between us and those called insane is that our form of denial is a little more successful than theirs. Yet in some ways the insane are more honest than we are. They have admitted the emptiness of the world and have chosen to create their own fantasy world in its place, or have become suicidal in despair. The rest of us still stumble along in naive hope that the world will yet bring us satisfaction. The lesson asks us to give up the futile search for happiness through our bodies and the world, and to relax into the peace of God. If we can simply accept the fact that we will not find happiness or peace anywhere else, we can save ourselves all this misery. If I look at my own life, my most miserable moments have been those in which someone or something on which I had pinned my hopes for happiness had failed me. A marriage, a church, a job, a noble purpose, a hope of romance. The lesson is saying these are not isolated events. They represent the whole. The search for peace apart from the peace of God is hopeless, and the sooner we realize it, the sooner we will find true happiness. This world is not where you belong. You are a stranger here. So give it up, let it go, stop expecting it to make you happy. It never will. But it is given you to find the means whereby the world no longer seems to be a prison house or jail for anyone. There is a way out. You must change your mind about the purpose of the world if you would find escape. The text tells us the same things. Until you see the healing of the sun as all you wish to be accomplished by the world, by time and all appearances, you will not know the Father nor yourself. For you will use the world for what is not its purpose and will not escape its laws of violence and death. To change all this and open up a road of hope and release in what appeared to be an endless circle of despair, you need but decide you do not know the purpose of this world. You give it goals it does not have, and thus do you decide what it is for. You try to see in it a place of idols found outside yourself, with power to make complete what is within by splitting what you are between the two. You choose your dreams, for they are what you wish, perceived as if it had been given you. Your idols do what you would have them do, and have the power you ascribe them, and you pursue them vainly in the dream, because you want their power as your own. And that is from the text, chapter 29, section 7. If we can decide that we do not know the purpose of the world, we will be free to receive the purpose the Holy Spirit sees in it. Until we give up our imagined purposes, His purpose will seem dim and indecipherable. It is the letting go of what we think the world is for that allows its only true purpose to dawn upon us. That purpose in a word is forgiveness, or as the line in chapter 24 puts it, the healing of the sun. Forgiveness is needed in hell, and this world therefore must be hell. Forgiveness offers to me and to everyone the escape from evil dreams he imagines yet believes are true. All the world is good for, we might say, is for us to learn to look on it another way and find the peace of God. If the world is such a terrible, depressing place, we might think that logically the way to find peace is to leave the world, to die, to get out of this body. But that is not what the lesson says. Peace, we are told, begins within the world perceived as different. Notice, peace begins within the world. It begins with a new perception of the world, not as a prison house, but as a classroom. Beginning here, the road of peace will lead us on to the gate of heaven and the way beyond. But it must begin here. In poignant images of a road carpeted with leaves of false desires, we can see ourselves lifting our eyes away from the trees of hopelessness to the gate of heaven. It is the peace of God we want, and nothing but the peace of God. In the holy instance we enjoy in today's practicing, we recognize the peace we have sought, and feel its soft embrace surround your heart and mind with comfort and with love. The closing lines given us for practice sum up the whole lesson. Most of all, if confronted with the thought that there is no peace but the peace of God, do not yet respond with gladness and thanks. The message that there is no hope of answer in the world seems a dour and bitter pill to swallow. Instead of joy, we feel sad and a bit resentful. We wistfully cling to our vain hopes that the idols of this world will still somehow satisfy us. We want them to so very much. Only when we have learned to release them gladly and thankfully will we be, finally, free of their hold upon us. Let me then, in today's practicing, seek to find that gladness and thanks within myself. The Christ in me wants to come home. There is a part of me that breathes a sigh of relief as I begin to realize the world can never satisfy me, and whispers to me, at last you are beginning to let go of the source of your pain. Thank you. Let me connect with that part of my mind that is native to heaven, not naive, and knows it does not belong here. It is the only part that there is in reality. The more I connect with it, the sooner will I know the peace that is my natural inheritance. And that's all she wrote. This is the conclusion of part 1 of the workbook. Lesson 200 for July 19th. There is no peace except the peace of God. Thank you so much for joining with me.